Since I've never done a game review video before, I decided it's best we start off on familiar grounds. So we're going to talk about the history of the FPS genre, starting with Mario. You heard of Mario? Yeah, that. Now, I'm aware that Mario isn't a first-person shooter. We'll get there. But this is relevant information to the history of the FPS. You see, at this time, only consoles such as the NES could run a side-scroller like Mario. The disk operating systems of the time couldn't. The technology wasn't there until John Carmack, a time-traveling wizard with an IQ of 1,000,000,000,000, invented the technology while working for a software company named SoftDisk. John Romero felt that their talents were being wasted with SoftDisk, so they went straight to Nintendo with Carmack's tech demo. As you probably know all too well, Mario never left Nintendo consoles. Not wanting to squander John Carmack's hard work on this new engine, they went to Apogee and brought into our world Commander Keen, Invasion of the Vorticons. It's a side-scrolling platformer in the same vein as Mario, but with a science fiction theme. You play as Billy Blaze, an 8-year-old Jimmy Neutron-like boy genius who created a spaceship in his clubhouse using mostly recycled goods. Yeah, I'm almost certain this is actually John Carmack's autobiography. Now let me explain DOS boomer controls to you millennials who've never played a 90s PC platformer before. So you can use the arrow keys to move left and right and navigate the overworld. And then you use control to jump. You use the left control to jump. You can tap it for a little dainty hop or hold it down for a giant leap. Then you can press Alt to pull out your pogo stick, which you got to get used to this. This will help you reach places that you otherwise wouldn't be able to reach, which is required to beat the game. This pogo stick will be your best friend. But be careful not to press Control and Alt and an arrow key at the same time, because those are the hotkeys that change the orientation of your screen. So if you're jumping, say, towards a Vorticon, but you want to shoot them, you have to press Control and Alt at the same time to fire. So you're pressing those both down at the same time, but you're also holding a directional key because you don't want to lose the momentum from your jump. You need to make it to that platform, but you also need to shoot. So what do? Well, I find if you don't really know what you're doing, the best thing to do is push F1 to pull out the help menu. And this is pretty uniform among all DOS games. If you're stuck, push F1. So it tells you your controls here. Okay, keyboard mode. So we go to F3. And then you can see push 8 to rebind button 1 and 9 to rebind button 2. I paired them to I binded them to X and Z, and then I used a macro called anti-micro to bind these keys to my Xbox controller. I was originally using a Sidewinder Precision 2, but there were some technical difficulties with that, so I had to switch to the Xbox controller. Let's set some ground rules. Number 1, I am not allowed to reload a save upon death. This means I will be operating solely on the extra life system. If I run out of lives, well, I guess that sucks to be me. I'm starting from the beginning. Number 2, no cheats. Number 3, no source ports. This will be completely done in DOSBox. Now, the first thing you may notice is the sound. Yes, this is using old sound blasters. No MIDIs or sound fonts to improve sound quality. Just old PC speaker noises. This is all they had back then. I will be turning it down for the remainder of the video because it can get obnoxious. In this first level, we are introduced to the most common entity, the Yorps. This game is very lenient on one hand, since these creatures cannot directly harm you, unless they push you into a hazard. More often than not, you can just jump on their head and stun them. You can permanently stun them with the laser if you are so inclined, but you don't need to for the most part, and since ammo can be scarce, I recommend that you just leave them be. Eventually you'll be able to just bullshit your way past them, even using them as a boost to jump higher. Clappers are also introduced here. Be cautious around these space mussels. While they cannot move, all it takes is one hit for them to steal one of your precious extra lives. They are often placed around valuable items, baiting the player to test their mettle against their clammy grips. Only the more experienced or brave should attempt to relinquish them of their treasures. Moving on past the first level, make your way up here to this pyramid to grab the pogo stick. It is needed to beat the game and reach otherwise inaccessible areas. You can visit other pyramids too for hints. This one here tells you that it's too bad you can't read space signs. I personally wouldn't bother decrypting any of these signs. They appear throughout the game and I've never had any use of them. Sometimes you'll need to collect color keys to open the respective doors. You'll start to see a pattern here in the future. Gargs, unlike their friendly Yorp cousins, are one of the most dangerous enemies in the game. It only takes one shot to take them out, but do it quickly or they will charge you first. Careful around blind corners. These creatures are everywhere, sometimes even oozing out of the walls. Vorticons are the most annoying enemies in the game. They take 4 shots to kill and bounce around unpredictably. They are often placed where they can't be avoided, in front of the exit or an objective. Butler robots function similarly to Yorps. While unable to kill you, they can push you into deadly traps. However, these robots cannot jump, but move faster and cannot be killed. Vorticon robots cannot kill you on contact, but they can shoot a deadly laser. Aside from a couple parts in the game where they are utter nuisances, these robots can mostly be avoided with little effort. A minor annoyance for me is how this game can kill you and make you feel like a total dunce while it does it. If you've been going to each of these pyramids, you may already know how to defeat the final boss. The first time I encountered the King Vorticon, I just mistook him for another Vorticon and spent all my rounds on him, wondering why he wouldn't die. He is almost indistinguishable from the previous Vorticons, only he's almost invincible. To defeat the King Vorticon, you just need to climb up into the secret area and shoot this chain to drop the ceiling on him. How convenient. And that's it. Just grab your last piece for the beans with bacon and watch the ending cutscene.